Alright, the plot thickens. A lot happened this episode, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. So, first of all, we get the opening stuff with both tribes. The loved ones, the only things to talk about are Culpepper's rant on Jervis, and what do I think about the alliance of five guys holding out in the long term? Well, Culpepper's rant about Jervis, it is deserved because Jervis ran his mouth off like that, but it's still making me dislike Culpepper, and I'm going to redefine what I said in my last video. I'm a little less picky if the alliance of guys hold, as long as they blindside Culpepper. Because if they boot him, no complaints. Then on the Returnees tribe, Colton is going back doing his old thing. Another person that needs redemption this season that is not doing the greatest job. Rupert didn't do the greatest job, even though he did gain a bit of it back, as I learned in his exit interviews, but I would have only learned if I saw those exit stuff. Probst hasn't been doing that great because he was surprised that Rupert switched over with his wife, which was totally stupid. Was there one more? Oh yeah, Jervis doesn't learn how to swim, duh. Okay. And Colt is trying to do all this antagonizing his tribe. It's totally not working because everyone knows he's doing it, and it's not really that effective if, one, everyone knows that you're doing it. They're just like, okay, Colton told you this, you know what he's doing. Yeah, okay, we just need to watch him. Okay, let's go. Yeah, it's pathetic. And unlike Boston Rob and Marquesas, there's no way Colton can cause any damage because he doesn't have any power. Well, Rob didn't have any power in Marquesas, but just whatever. I hate Boston Rob and Marquesas. Only time I do. That's really all I feel like mentioning. The Redemption Island duel. I was glad that Candace won, giving the clue to her husband. Then Marissa triumphing over Rupert. Well, I honestly expected Marissa to go, but I was actually hoping Rupert would go because of all the negativity he had, one in HVV and then in the last episode. But I actually learned in last episode it was partially due to a bad edit, because had we seen the other half of his activity, well, he sneakily boiled some lobsters and fish, and then ate them and then fell back to sleep before Candace would notice, then I wouldn't have felt as bad, because that would have meant that there's a method to his madness. And it seemed like in the secret scene that I saw the three of them on Redemption Island, it isn't completely bad, just of course, they hate being there. So in a way he did somewhat redeem himself, but let's be realistic, okay? He's played the game 3 times, he's made the jury all 3 times. He actually did a noble thing to pass the torch over to his wife. And, oh, one other thing, Rupert, you actually have one individual immunity, but there are weaknesses with those 2 wins you had. First of all, had Burton not been in that challenge, you would have won. You actually won that first immunity because he chose to give it to you. Had Burton not been in that challenge, you would have won. And Burton shouldn't have been in that challenge because he was already immune. And then in the other time you won individual immunity, well, that was the coconut challenge. And that was just when people chose not to go after you. Okay. Had to get that out of the way for everyone who's forgotten that. I forgot that also. So then the immunity challenge, I couldn't decide who I wanted to see win. There were pros and cons to both tribes winning. I haven't felt this way since One World. So that definitely shows that I'm liking the season, and it has a lot more potential. Let's hope it doesn't fall down several pegs in likability like Philippines and Caramel did, even though I didn't like Philippines for almost the entire season, anyway. Then Vetus plants the idea in Culpepper's head to blindside Rachel to potentially get Tyson on Redemption Island. That's a pretty good idea for 2 reasons. 1, it gets rid of a strong returnee, and 2, it makes it seem like Culpepper was responsible for that, so all the bad heat is going to be on Culpepper. Smart. Then John not sharing the idol clue. Well, I can kind of understand why he's doing it, because, you know, he's got the clue and he's having a little bit of a tough time figuring out where it is. He has a good picture in his mind of where it is, but how's he going to get it? Especially since finding a idol without a clue is no longer impressive, Tyson actually has a secret scene where he's able to almost perfectly deduce it, even though he states that he's actually not going to go out and look for it. So there you go. I was bummed to see Rachel go because, well, one, I think I honestly would have preferred Sierra to go, mainly just because I'm not the biggest fan of Laura from Samoa coming back, so a bit of the animosity I feel towards her, unfortunately for her daughter, transferred to her daughter. And also, just like with Rob Sesternino and John from Marquesas, there's just something I like about Rachel. Can't describe it. Okay, so is there anything else we have to talk about? Nah. So what do I think happens next week? I think one of the loved ones goes on the Redemption Island duel. I'm not seeing that much potential for Candice to go yet. There's still just too much to that dynamic, I think. Who do I think will go if Tyson doesn't switch, which he might? I expect Rachel, but actually, yeah, I just expect Rachel. I don't have a real preference of who goes between Marissa or her. I like them both. I wish they both could stay. Then, what do I think Colt is going to do? Something tells me he's going to either quit or just run over and hug Caleb. Simple as that. It's one of those two options. And yeah, we have seen people go over and converse or touch members from the other tribe. You gotta remember, JT was able to give that idol to Russell and HVV. You know? Okay, I'm really liking this season, and I'm seeing a lot of potential for it. Not bad, I cropped it by 5 minutes.